I had a special request on the podcast, and we're going to put these people on blast and shout them out, of course, but they wanted us again, because they're watching the podcast. They wanted us again to tell this fucking story for like the millionth time because it's funny to them. And quite frankly, between you and I, we were the ones that experienced it. And shout out to our bros, Jonathan, Justin, Joe, Robert.
What do they want? What do they want us to talk about?
Here's the thing, and we're gonna give listeners and viewers a kind of like a backstory before we actually tell it, because we have their interpretation and then there's ours. And I'm gonna paint the picture a little bit for the audience. And the time was September 2002.
Okay.
This is the infamous freak out incident at the house.
Oh, come on. That one again?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people haven't heard it, and there's some new members to the group that want to hear it.
They want to hear this story. Okay.
Yeah, and then eventually have to tell some other ones. So we'll start with this one because this is the most, I'm not going to say it's the funniest.
It's the most memorable.
It's the most memorable along with, other ones. So
first of all,
let's paint a picture for everyone listening. So it's around September 2002. Roger had me. I don't know if I just applied or I had interviewed for the Radio Shack job at the Montebello Mall. And I think it was like my first month, or I don't know what it was, but he had a planned trip to, was it Merida?
It was for Yucatan. Yeah, I was supposed to go with my family. We were going to go to every 2 years we would go, so it's going to be me and my mom. But this time it was a bigger group going. So it was a big deal, And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm going to go this time, but I'm going to be gone for a long time. This time it's going to be a month instead of a usual 2 weeks. And you're like, okay, well, we got to get together, and do something.
And I don't know whose idea it was. They had just moved into that house too. And it was around September, right?
Around there, yeah.
Yeah. And because for some reason, I remember that month clearly. It was so weird. But I don't know who had the genius idea to tell Roger, hey, you got to blaze it with us. You got to smoke. And, Roger's never really smoked before. He's only done stuff here and there. And he said, okay, cool. We didn't think anything of it. So, we were at our bros pad in Pico, and, we were just chiefing in the bag, doing the powwow thing that we usually do, talking shit with the music playing. Now, bear in mind that me and my bros are just used to puff, 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 give. And we threw Roger in the circle.
In the mix.
Announced that, he's not a smoker. And we had no idea. We didn't know. And here's what I never asked you, Roger. It's like, you were taking hits with each pass?
Yeah. Yeah.
You were inhaling. I mean, I know you're a rookie smoker, but
it hurt. To me, it burned. It was hot, like hot air. Felt hot air because you guys put a flame on it. So I wasn't used to it. And it was hot. And I was like, fuck, I kept coughing at every one.
And it was a beautiful granite pipe that they had gotten that eventually broke. But
I tried to keep up. And I remember we started around 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And we did it for 4 or 5 hours straight. Just, in an off
seemed
and on.
Like 4 or 5 hours.
Seemed like that, but okay. So I guess they want to hear the part of the shit that I started to see. And
you remember this clearly, right?
I remember it clearly. I mean, I can tell you right now, getting high and getting drunk are the same, except getting drunk, you lose the footage, deleted scenes. Getting high, it sticks to your brain. So the shit that you've done while you're high. You remember it.
Getting that high, for sure.
Well, getting that high for me was literally a fucking trip. So it was in the evening because we were going to go Casa Caminos that night.
Yeah, we're going to go to karaoke.
So we're hanging out. The lights are on in the backyard. Well, not yet. It was still, the sun was still out a bit. And I remember asking everybody, are we on a fucking boat? And they're like, what? And what are you what the hell are we on a boat? And the whole reason why I asked that is because their backyard, the way it's set up, is the barbecue pit area was like this huge, it's all concrete and everything, smooth concrete. And there's a bar in the corner, barbecue pit on the other side. And there's a little wall, dividing that area for the swimming area. And the little wall had, the bricks and everything. And it had these posts on it. And on the post on top, there were arches, So when you look at it through your peripheral vision, it looked like you were on a fucking boat. And that was the railing and everything. And I thought that the pool was the beach and that their dog was a seal sleeping on the beach. Like, are we on a boat? And they're like, why? Because look, there's the water and there's a freaking seal sleeping on the sand and shit. Like, don't you guys see that? And they're like, no, that's our dog and that's the swimming pool. I'm like, are you all right? I'm like, I guess I'm not, because it's weird. And then I started seeing shapes and faces and figures on their stucco wall. Because stucco is all uneven, And I started seeing that, hey, like, do you guys see that? And they're like, what? What is it? What is it? Like, look, there's the Punisher skull. And they're like, what?
I definitely saw that,
and
though.
I'm like, look. And I'm like, look. Right here and there, you see the shape? Look. And they're like, and you were like, oh my God.
Of suggestion was imminent.
I'm like, I'm not crazy. And like, look, there's a fucking lion head. Yeah. There's a face of a lion and there's a freaking Koopa Troopa from Super Mario Brothers.
Dude.
Right there. And they're like,
all saw those shapes.
You guys all started seeing it. So I wasn't going insane. And that's when I said, I'm like, I'm going to go inside. I either felt thirsty. I don't know. Something just told me to go inside. So I vaguely remember going inside, opening the sliding door and walking into the little rec room area that they had and then into the kitchen. And Justin was in the kitchen. And this is the time when Justin was a fucking travieso, who still is, but he was young. He was younger and he was just, enjoying the moment. For some reason, I heard this big bang, and Justin was like, oh shit. I'm like, what happened? Like, I was like, what happened? I got scared. And then the whole kitchen started spinning. I'm like, what happened? What's going on? It's like, and then Justin was like, oh, fuck. And then I started hearing people outside. Hey, are you all right? And I walked to the door. What happened? And I think it was either you or Jonathan were saying, did you fall? And I was like, and that's when I was like freaking out. I was like, I don't know. Did I? Like, I don't know. Did I? And Justin starts going, yeah, he fell. Fell down. He's like, I fell down. He's like, yeah, dude, you fell. Did I hit my head? It's like, yeah, you fell. Like, oh shit. And I started freaking out. I was like, and I'm like, did you fall down? I'm like, I don't know. So they're like, you're like, go sit on the couch. And I sat on the couch and I was like, oh shit. Did I fall? And I started feeling my head. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, oh my God. Did I fall? Like, oh my God, I'm bleeding. I'm fucking bleeding. And the thing that I started, the wetness was my sweat. And I didn't realize that. I thought it was blood. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking bleeding. He's like, no, dude, you're sweating. I'm like, hey, did I fall? No. And I kept asking you guys every 5 seconds. Yeah. Like, hey, did I fall? No. Like, no, you didn't. We were watching movies. Someone decided to put a movie on. And I don't know what you guys were watching. I think it was The Ring. And I guess I started getting on people's nerves because I was like, hey, did I fall? And they're like, no. And I don't know what happened.
The worst movie on too.
I don't know what happened after that, but I found myself behind the small couch that they had in front of their front door.
Yeah.
And on my knees, behind it. And I was like, this couch was I was like, hey, did I fall? No, shut up. Right. And I had my hands on my side, and I started hearing this very, really loud and terrifying scratching sound. It was and I was freaking out. I was like, what is that? What the fuck is it? And I'm following it. I'm following the sound. And I look down. It's my own hand scratching their carpet. Holy shit, that's loud. And I lay down and I put my head on the pillow and I see you kicking back on the couch like that. And you're watching it and I'm looking at you. I'm just looking right at you and I'm yelling your name. I'm like, Edgar. In my head, I'm yelling, but I'm not saying anything. Here's this whole time I'm thinking that I'm yelling at you. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm dead. I thought I was dead. I closed my eyes and I pictured fucking paramedics trying to resuscitate me. I'm like, so fucking dead. And I'm looking at you, I'm like, and then for some reason, I felt the vibration in my neck. I felt it, and I go, Edgar, and you reacted and you turned. And that's when I'm like, oh, thank God, I'm not dead. You know, he turned around, and I think it was George. I don't know I think it was George at the time. He's like, hey, maybe you should take him home. No, George's girlfriend. She's like, maybe you should take him home. And you're like, hell no, his dad will kill me.
I'm not taking him home like
that. And I'm like, I need to go outside. I said, I got to go outside. It's hot in here. And everybody was like, no, you better stay in here. No, I got to go outside. I want to, it's too hot. Like, no, you're staying in here. I'm like, why can't I go outside? Because you might walk in front of a fucking truck and not even know it. Because everybody was afraid that I would wander out there. So that was it. That's all I remember from there. The next scene was we're at Wendy's at the Pico Center.
Do you remember me driving the Nova?
No, I did not know you drove the car. No,
yeah, I didn't have it back then.
I just remember we were in line to order food, you know, and I said, I want cheeseburger, like big burger, and big Dr. Pepper, if you have it. All right. I was like, I want this big. This big. And the guy behind the cashier was like, okay. And I'm like, all right. And I gave you the money and we were ready to go sit down. And that's when I was like, oh, you know, and you got, I'm like, you got to throw up. It's like, and you're like, bathroom's over there. Go. And you push me like into the door. Like, I find it. I get into the stall and I just remember seeing myself like that and like this big, like Exorcist. Have you ever seen the movie The Exorcist?
You went Linda Blair, dude.
It was totally dark green. And I was like,
you know what's crazy? While you were doing that, me and our friend Marissa were ordering the food, and the whole restaurant was empty. We had to throw out the whole restaurant, and the cash register is like, "Can I take your order?" And I'm like,
I was like,
"Give me a sec." And I'm like, I looked at Marissa. I'm like, "Holy shit! Like, what's happening? Is he gonna be okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's fine. Get him I forgot. I'm like, get him a double, a large Dr. Pepper." And he's like, "Yeah." And they were like speeding up the order. You could see the cooks in the back, just like. And I'm like,
I was like, and then when I was done with my, purging, I kid you not, I burped and fucking smoke came out. I was like, what the fuck? I swallowed smoke. I must have swallowed a lot of smoke.
It was probably stuck in your lung somewhere.
Yeah. Well, no, it was either in my stomach. I don't know. I burped and just smoke came out. It's like, and you could taste it. Like you could taste the weed, the smoke. Yeah. I was like, wow, what the fuck? But I felt so much better. And when I came out of the bathroom, I was like, wow, so this is what it's like? And you're like, are you feeling good? I'm like, I'm feeling better, man. And like, he's like, I could tell. Like, why? So the whole restaurant heard you. Like, it's like, really? Yeah. So we ate and then we went to Casa Caminos for our karaoke night. And everything there was slow motion for me. I was like, dude, to me, 5 seconds felt like 5 minutes. And I was like, shit. And this is, okay, so I'm going to tell my part and you're going to tell your part of what you saw me doing. But here's what I was doing. I was at the table and I was eating my chips. I was enjoying these chips. I was like, good. And then somebody said, Roger's going to come up and sing something. I was like, me? All right. And so I go up and I'm like, yeah, put my song on. Yeah, okay. And all of a sudden I was like, ready to go. Here we go. And boom, I hear the cymbal crash in the thing and I start singing. I singing my thing. And then you're like, hey, that's it. It's like, what? I'm singing my song here. You're done. You're finished. Like, what? It's like, yeah, you're finished. Go sit down. I'm like, okay. Did you guys like it? And they're like, yeah, we liked it. It was cool. We're like, okay, now go sit down. So I don't know what happened after that, but you told me what happened. So you can tell the rest.
All right. So what wound up happening was I got up and sang first. Roger was eating all the tortilla chips without any salsa. And the way you were eating were like if an orphan just broke out of the orphanage and just discovered chips for the first time and just started scarfing them down. Even our friend Marissa was like, what is going on with this guy? And your eyes are bloodshot and you were so like heavy-eyed.
Really?
So I had the genius idea of telling our friend Juan, who was a karaoke DJ at the time, like, hey, play Roger's song, which is Piece of Shit Car by Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
And you nailed it all throughout the first and second verse. During the 15 measure, I think, kind of like solo instrumental, you fell asleep like this with the mic, like that. And I'm like, whatever. And I'm looking at you. I'm like, I look at Marissa. I'm like, Roger's asleep on stage. She's like, oh my God. And Juan's like, wait, don't do anything. And then as soon as the 15 measure ended and the cymbal crash came back, piece of shit car, like seamlessly came back to the song. Like the cymbal crash woke you up. It was like hypnotism. Like, now you're going to come back, and the snap of my finger, and this snap of a finger just happened to be a cymbal crash. And then you weren't stopping at the end. It's because the song fades out.
Right.
So you just kept going, but you just didn't know when to stop because you were just in the zone, and we're like, all right, cool. And, Juan had to kind of call you off stage, or whatever.
Okay.
And then you asked me, like, how did I do? I'm like, you nailed it, dude. I go, but you fell asleep on stage, right? You're like, no. You have any more chips? And then I remember I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give you we're going to buy some beers, some Coronas to kind of even out your high. And I think that just made it worse. Not worse, but it just got you even more high.
I don't remember that.
I still had to drive the Nova back to I'm thinking, should I just go back to the house or just go straight to his house? So what I wound up doing is we dropped our friend Marissa back to where, she was going to go back to her car. I drove you back. And midway, you're like, all right, I'm okay to drive. I'm like, no, you're not. He goes, no, for real, I'm okay to drive. So I'm like, no, you're not. So you wanted to get out and get in the driver's seat. And I was like, no, I kept going. You wanted to open the door while the vehicle was moving.
No way. Yeah. Really?
And okay. I'm like, Roger, stop it. We're almost home. He goes, no, I can do it. I swear. And at this point, I'm like, it's a mixture of both. He's drunk and he's high. Wow. And then I parked in the front. I didn't park in the garage. I remember that. And I had parked in the red with a fire hydrant is. And I'm like, shit. I'm like, you think you won't get a ticket? He goes, no, it's fine. We won't get a ticket. I'm like, all right. So I'm like, I'm going to follow him in because I knew your mom and your dad were awake.
Okay.
And we went in, but my cover was like, we've, obviously had too much to drink. We apologize. And your parents got mad for us drinking and driving, obviously.
Right.
But I'm like, I cannot tell them that he's under the influence of fucking marijuana because they'll kill me.